So I take his shoe off for the night, and I saw his toes, and they were like red and started to blister up, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I reached inside of the shoe, and I found it, and I was like,
Yeah.
and I started
And
crying.
then the tears started flowing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's gonna be fine, babe, I promise. This is installment number 2, of the SCI Awareness Month
Yes.
series that we're doing, trying to talk about some spinal cord injury facts, things about our lives, etc.
We've seen a lot of questions, so we just kind of want to use this month to address topics that have to do with Cole, SCI as a whole. So, yeah.
Thank you everyone that left ideas on our last video in the
thank
comment section. We had a good time going through those, even answering some questions.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. But for today's topic, we're going to cover some secondary sort of complications that come along with spinal cord injury
Yes.
that you wouldn't really think about unless you were living in the situation.
So there's like this really cool diagram of an iceberg. At the top of the iceberg for a spinal cord injury, it says the inability to walk, and that's the one thing that you can see. And underneath the rest of the iceberg, there's different conditions that come with a spinal cord injury that you don't think about unless you know someone in that situation and you are in that situation yourself. So
Right.
that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, the under the surface 90%
Yes.
of everything.
Exactly.
So, I think there are, four that we're going to talk about?
Or 4 or 5, yeah.
4 or 5. There are a lot more than that, but
Yes.
for the sake of time, we're going to cover the ones we thought were pretty important.
Yes.
Did you hear my mom sneeze?
Yeah.
I wonder if the
Bless
mic...
you.
Bless you! Thank you.
We just made a recent post on our Instagram about weight shifting and pressure sores.
Yes.
So I think that'll be a good one to cover first.
Okay. So weight shift, first of all, is any time you're shifting your butt or shifting your weight off your butt. Because since I'm sitting here all day long, there's the risk of a pressure sore.
Yes.
And that happens when blood can't get to that area of your skin because of the pressure of sitting there. So, for example, like when you press down on your hand and then you take your finger off and it's white for a second, that's because there's no blood there, and then all of a sudden the blood comes rushing in. You can think about my butt is always in that white condition and it needs that blood to come back in. And to do that, we weight shift. And I can do an example, I guess.
Yeah.
We can go forward. I don't know if I'm going to be in the frame. I might.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So now he's out of the frame, but he's leaning forward for a weight shift, sorry.
So you can go forward. You can also go to the side. Bye. Or this way onto Charisma. So this is doing one cheek at a time.
Yeah. You can also lift a leg at a time if you are able to. So a lot of people with paraplegia can, lift one leg at a time.
Well, people with paraplegia will also just push down on their chairs.
Yep, that's
and
another thing.
absolutely lift their butt up.
Yeah, so they'll put their arms on their armrest or their wheels and just lift up like this.
Yeah. I cannot do that. I don't have triceps, so
Yeah.
that's very difficult. I think some quads can, but I can't.
Depends on the level and the function.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's very important to make sure that you don't get pressure sores, because if you do get one, there are a lot of other issues that could very quickly arise. For example, infection, and that infection could lead to things like pneumonia, and that's how Christopher Reeve died. You're also probably going to be on bed rest for a long time, and if you have a sore on your butt, you're not going to be on bed rest on your back, you're going to be on your stomach for a month or longer, and that obviously put your whole life on hold.
Yep.
And nobody wants to lay on their stomach for a month.
Yeah.
That's awful. I've had close friends who've gone through that more than once.
Yeah.
And it's really sucky.
So have you ever had a pressure sore?
I have not. I've been lucky. Well, I take that back. I got one on my elbow. I can't feel my elbow. So when I first was injured, we would be getting up really early for rehab. My morning programs take a long time, the BOW programs. So there was this metal bar, like a grab bar beside the toilet, and I would rest there and like try to sleep. Have I told you this before?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah. So I would try to sleep on the bar, and then I lifted my arm up one day, and there was a pressure sore right on my arm where I was touching the metal. And I was like, oh no, like these are real. Like I need to watch out for this. And so since then I haven't gotten one.
So a good 8 years.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I've been very fortunate. I think it helps that I have a fat butt. And I'm young, so my body can bounce back. But oh wait, no, there's another one too. There's another. Right when I got hurt, I got a pressure sore.
You did?
Yeah, and this was really interesting. So when they brought me to the hospital right after I broke my neck, they told my parents that I'm going to get a pressure sore. And my parents were like, why? And I was like, well, we have to keep him in traction, and so we can't take him off his back. So he's going to get a pressure sore right at the bottom of the sacrum, where your tailbone is kind of pointing down.
Call your coccyx.
Your coccyx. Yeah. So I got a pressure sore there in the very beginning, but that was like, they knew it was going to happen. I've been lucky since.
Yeah, very fortunate for sure. So our next topic is going to be batter and blow control.
Wait, batter and blow?
I said that.
You said batter and blow control? Batter blow.
Ooh, let's do that again. Rewind. So our next topic is going to be bladder and bowel control. A lot of people with a spinal cord injury do not have control over those muscles. Some people do, but it's not common. Most people do not have control. So in Cole's case, we have to give him an intermittent catheterization. For short, we call it ICs.
Yeah.
And then
it sounds much better.
Yeah.
Intermittent is a hard word to say.
Yeah, can I have an intermittent catheterization? Yeah.
No.
He's like, I just need an IC, and we know what he's talking about.
Give me ick.
Ick. That's like one of the first things I learned how to do when I met Cole, and that was like a week or two in.
No, it was much later than that.
Okay, that was like a month in.
I didn't want to bring that in too early.
Yeah.
I didn't want to scare you away.
But when I did it, it was like super easy, and I was like, at first I was nervous because I'm like, oh, but
right. Everybody's always nervous giving me an IC the first time because they think they're hurting me, and I'd say, I can't feel it. They're like, yeah, well, I can feel it for you, and it doesn't feel good. So bladder and bowel control is definitely one of the biggest barriers to independence, I would say, for quads. Paras can deal with it more capably on their own because they have hand function and all that.
Yeah.
So if you don't take good care of your bladder, for example, there's another complication that may arise, which are UTIs. And these are urinary tract infections. I had to think about it for a second. For many of us, UTIs are a very common, present issue in our lives. I mean, I personally have a UTI on like a low level almost all the time. And we know that because when we dump out my urine bags and stuff, I mean, there's a pungent smell.
Or cloudiness in it.
Man, we're getting like extra personal on this one.
Do you not like this?
That's all right.
It's vulnerable. You're being vulnerable.
I guess so.
You don't have to get extra personal.
It's all right. It's all good.
You don't have to.
So UTIs.
Anyways, so it happens for a lot of people, in able-bodied people as well as, people with spinal cord injuries or any other disability. But it could be more serious for someone in a chair.
You can become really tired, really sick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost so debilitating depending on how bad your UTI is, where you might be just house locked. You can't even go out because you're in so much discomfort.
Yeah.
And like you said, it can be really bad, particularly because another complication of spinal cord injury is our immune system is suppressed. I don't really know exactly why that's the case. Do you know why?
I don't. I actually don't know why.
It's just like everything with spinal cord injury, as far as like healing and your body fighting things, is just seems to be dampened, seems to be a little bit slower. So like, for example, when I got that pressure sore on my elbow, that took a long time to heal, a lot longer than it would for Charisma, in most of you all that are watching that are able-bodied. Similarly, like if we get like a common cold or something like that, a common cold will take me a few weeks to get over rather than, a week that it would take someone else.
Yeah.
It just takes a long time.
Cole does a great job. Like when he feels something coming on, he drinks so much water, takes so much medication, and just knocks it out of his system that day. And it's just that day, and it's like impressive.
Yeah, in the past, I waited too long, too many times, and I was like, screw this. So now, if I get like a little bit of soreness in my throat, I'm like, nope, I'm taking everything. Give me a lozenge, give me that spray stuff, that red spray, you know what I'm talking about? Give me all of the medicine, because I'm not dealing with it. It hurts.
I know. And then it just takes a while for you to get over it. So like whenever I feel sick too, like now I'm starting to like take care of it quicker so I don't get him sick. Another thing we want to talk to you all about is temperature regulation.
Yes.
So those with spinal cord injury usually have a difficult time regulating their temperature. So sometimes they can always be cold all the time, or sometimes they're always hot.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the person. But no matter what end of the spectrum they are on, they have a hard time regulating the opposite feeling or even the same feeling.
Yeah, no, even the same temperature,
Yeah.
for sure. So in my case, I'm cold all the time.
Yeah.
It's fantastic on hot summer days like this because I can come outside and it feels money. But once fall hits and heading into winter, it just gets miserable because literally, like, I'll start shivering inside just thinking about going outside, knowing that I'm going to be super cold. And it can be a real problem, like, if we go out into the cold for too long, and I can get to the point where I'll start shivering uncontrollably, and I can't stop unless I literally get in a super hot shower for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That happened to us when we were in DC that one time.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
We had to walk like a mile and change from dinner, and it was pretty cold. By the time we got back, Cole was shivering, and I was like, all right, let's get in bed, put you under the covers, and see if that helps. He got in bed under the covers about 20 minutes, and he was still shivering.
Yeah.
So we had to get up, get on the shower chair, and then go into the shower, and I literally just sat him in there for 30 minutes.
I know.
Until he felt better.
And it was amazing because I'd been shivering all day.
Yeah.
So that was nice. It's also the same if I get too hot as well. Even though I like being out in the heat, of course, there's a limit. And once I'm overheated, I'm kind of screwed. There's no coming back from that, just like if I get too cold. In that case, we have to like go back to the house, put me in bed, take off all my clothes, put ice packs in sensitive areas like armpits and other crevices.
Growing.
And
You say growing.
would you say growing?
Growing.
Groin. So that also sucks. And I know when that's coming because I start mouth breathing and I can feel my nose running. I'm like, oh, it's time. I got to get out. I got to get inside.
So when you can't sweat below your level of injury, you can't evaporate that sweat and then use it to cool you down.
Right.
So sometimes if we're outside, we do emulate sweat by spraying him with spray bottles or put like a cold towel over his neck to try to do the same thing. But sometimes that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And this leads into our last topic, autonomic dysreflexia.
Yes.
So we did a post.
Quite a mouthful.
Yeah. We did a post about this on our Instagram page talking about it some. You can refer to that for a more in-depth definition. But basically, autonomic dysreflexia happens when there's something going on below the level of injury. So it's a way for the body to signal you to let you know that something's going on.
Yeah.
So in Cole's case...
Yeah, in my case,
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense. So I have AD pretty much every single day at some point. While AD can be a very serious situation, that's only if you let it get out of hand and you don't address what the problem is. Because the only reason you're having AD is because there's a problem. If nothing's wrong, you wouldn't be having AD. So in my case, I feel the early signs of AD when I have to release my bladder. Also, when I have to have a program or a bowel movement. I start getting these waves of chills, kind of. And I've actually, over the course of years, figured out like which chills correspond to whatever I need to fix. For example, like I learned a new wave the other day with the help of Charisma. I started getting these chills and I was like, man, do I need to pee or do I need to poop? And that wasn't the problem. So it's like, what is happening right now? And then I remember Charisma talking about,
oh, you need to drink more, Cole. You need to drink more.
so I chugged some water and they went away. So
Yeah.
I literally was dehydrated to the point where my body was starting to tell me, something's wrong. I don't feel good. You need to fix this or
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a stroke. So
Yeah. When Cole has autonomic dysreflexia or AD, our first instinct is to see if he has to use the restroom. If we do that and he still has AD, we're like, okay, we're going to strip him down, take off his shoes, take off his shirt, check his body to see if something's pinching, to see if something's stuffed in his shoe. There was actually an incident in DC.
Also in DC when I was cold.
At the same time, where we got brand new shoes and I forgot to check it and take out the little paper
Like
stuffing that
yeah.
comes in it. We went the whole day and Cole was getting like mild chills and like didn't really say, he said it, but like it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I was surprised once we figured out what was happening that I didn't have more chills.
Yeah. So I take his shoe off for the night and I saw his toes and they were like red and started to blister up and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I reached inside of the shoe and I found it and I was like,
Yeah.
and I started
And
crying.
then the tears started flowing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's going to be fine, babe. I promise. I'm so sorry.
I didn't mean to hurt him. I'm like getting teary eyed thinking about it.
No.
Because I didn't mean to hurt him and I just felt really bad
You
and
didn't hurt me. I didn't feel it.
I just know how serious that can be. But fortunately it healed. We got in the shower, cleaned him up and it healed like the next day. Whew.
So I was surprised my AD didn't give me more of a sign that something was wrong with that. Yeah, so if AD gets out of hand, I mean, you're at risk for having a stroke.
Yep.
Because your blood pressure is going to skyrocket. You might start sweating a little bit, which that happens to me. You might also have a heart attack, and I actually have had a friend that's around my age have a heart attack from AD.
Wow, really?
And yeah.
Wow.
And I do not want to have a heart attack in my 20s. So we keep a close eye on AD for sure.
Yeah.
We just covered a lot. I know we did. So if you have more
Sorry.
questions, put them down in the comment section and we'll try to answer as many as we can.
Yeah. And don't forget to follow our Instagram, roll.with.cole. We'll be covering, more topics regarding spinal cord injuries for the rest of the month.
Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you so much. Don't forget. Say it again.
Yes, thank you for watching.
Thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and stay positive.
Woo! You have even further to go this
I
time.
know.
Go.
Oh, it's so hot.
Oh, it is hot.
Fun.
You or the camera?